Welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today I've got a really interesting recipe I put together, and I hope that you like this because it absolutely is a winner in our house. This is spaghetti squash. I grew a bunch of that and I've been trying to use it up in creative ways so we don't get tired of it. And it's so healthy. It's a low carb load for you. A cup of spaghetti squash is only 7 carbs, and so that's really low carb, and it's a healthy vegetable. You're getting fiber, vitamins, and minerals that you wouldn't get any other way, and this is an heirloom organic variety. So that being said, I'm going to make spaghetti squash fritters, but I'm going to put a little different spin on it, and we're going to make them spicy. We're going to use some sriracha sauce. So we're going to do Sriracha Fritters, if that makes sense to you. And if it does and it inspires you to stay with me and see how I do it, then go down in that show more box below and visit all my links that I provided for you, my Facebook page, my Wild Tree website, as well as anything else I might have put down there in the description box. Okay, guys, so let's go do some sriracha spaghetti squash fritters. So I'm glad you stayed. Have a seat and watch how I do this. I have cooked off this spaghetti squash, and what I do is I scrub the outside. Even though it came out of my garden, there still could be dirt on it. Scrub the outside really good. I poke a couple of holes in it with a knife and pop it in the microwave for 13 to 14 minutes, depending on your microwave. And then you're just going to come in here and get all that delicious spaghetti squash out of this. And I'm not going to use this whole spaghetti squash for this recipe, but I kind of wanted you to see, some people out there haven't even ever had one. And it can be the replacement for pasta, a lot of different things, but today I'm using it kind of like what you would do with zucchini in the summertime, only we're doing it in the wintertime. These got picked out of my garden in September, and it's now almost January 1st. Actually, by the time you see this video, it will be after the 1st probably. And they keep really well. I've got them in my family room. So that part is done. Now I'm going to go ahead and in this bowl, I'm going to get to the other ingredients. I've got 1 egg, and that's going to be the binder, kind of the binder for this. And so get your egg whipped up. And you could use 2 eggs if you wanted. I think 1's going to be okay, but if it's not, I'll just whip up another egg. So, because I have lots of veg going in this. Okay, so then I'm going to grab some spaghetti squash. And I'm going to put about a cup in here of the spaghetti squash. And because I've got a lot of other vegetables going in. And let me rinse my hands really quick. It's going to be fabulous. So as you can see, I've got 2 green onions here. I'm going to pop that in. And you just chop all this up. I've got some cilantro. I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of cilantro in here, and I'm going to leave the other part for garnish. I've got 1 serrano pepper here, diced as small as I could, seeded and deveined. I've got a couple cheeks of a red bell pepper, diced as small, and some carrot. And this is all color, and it just is going to give these eye appeal as well as taste and nutrition. And you guys are going to love these. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to get this board out of the way. We won't need it until we go to garnish. And I like to go ahead. I've washed this lime, and I've got my microplane. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of brightness in here because it's kind of going to have that feel to it. I think it's going to need some of that brightness. Just a little bit. You're only going to zest about half of your lime. You don't need a lot. And then salt and pepper. A couple grinds of salt. I use Himalayan pink salt. Some fresh cracked black pepper. And this is up to you. If you don't like as much, you can change this around. And then we've got a tablespoon or no, actually, a tablespoon and a half of all-purpose flour. And I've got a heaping teaspoon of baking powder. Gotta have it. It's gonna make this lofty and delicious. And now, last but not least, sriracha. So, got our sriracha sauce, and I just kind of eyeball 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. We'll start with that, and we'll see how it looks. If it looks like it needs more, we'll get some more in there. Because I don't know that you could have too much sriracha. Look how pretty these are going to be. And if it looks like your mixture is too wet, you can always add some flour to it. I want it kind of like a batter consistency. I can smell the sriracha. It's got the garlic and the peppers, and just delicious. And I think this is perfect. Color-wise, it looks just like it always does. All right, so now we're gonna heat up our pan, and I'll get these on and show you how they come out. Okay, so I've got my tablespoon, maybe a little bit more of coconut oil in my pan. And I like using cast iron for this. This is my mixture. Now, I decided to add some crumbled feta. I had some leftover cheese from the holiday, and I decided, you know, I'm just gonna add it in there. What could it hurt? You could do this with or without it, but I'm gonna go ahead. That'll add some calcium as well. You could have this now, because of the protein and everything, you could have this as a main dish. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, because our oil is nice and hot, and just get your fritters the shape that you like. It doesn't really matter. And as you can see, this is gonna make enough for 2 to 3 people. Okay. It usually makes about 4 to 6 fritters. Just have to wait and see. So we're gonna let those go, and as soon as they're brown and the eggs have sat, then we're gonna go ahead and turn those over. Okay, so batch number 2 is now done. They're all crispy and golden. I'm gonna take one of these off. As you can see, this is just a really fluffy fritter. So I've got my fritter here. This is plenty for me. I'm gonna top this with a little extra feta. And you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to have the feta on there at all. Just trying to use up what's in the fridge is always a challenge after the holidays. So now, because we know we love sriracha, we're gonna go ahead and lightly drizzle some sriracha on there. Oh, doesn't that look good? Yum. Okay, and then a little bit of cilantro, and looks like the holidays all over again. Let me get a picture and I'll get you a taste test. Feta here, and look how light and fluffy that is. Ah, these are delicious. Wow, I hope you can see that. That was fabulous. I love how lofty this is, and I will tell you, the first batch that I put in were a little bit on the soft side, and so I added a couple more tablespoons of flour to the mix, and a little bit more sriracha, and there you go. This is the end result. Delicious. It's like a savory vegetable pancake. It's so good. Okay, one more bite, and I'll let you guys go. That could totally be my dinner. So I hope this inspires you to step outside the box, maybe try spaghetti squash a little different way than you had ever planned before, and utilize that hot sauce, because a lot of times I have friends say they bought the sriracha and then they don't know what to do with it. And so these are some ideas, and for all you sriracha lovers out there, Sal and Angie and Dan and Big Meat Sunday, yes, John, I hope you guys like this. All right, guys, I hope to see you next time. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button.